Where'd you go?
I'm right here.
Sorry.
Welcome, everybody. This is Inspire Millions, stories to inspire your success. I have an incredible, lovely lady here, Kirsten Carosi. And she is an incredible woman. She is a single mum of 3 children. She runs a very successful business. She's been in business for, I think, half of her life. Everything's been successful, and she has always said no to the naysayers. And that's our topic today, is how ignoring naysayers creates your success.
Yes.
Kirsten, great to
Hi,
have you.
Kate. How are you?
Fantastic. Great to see you.
You too.
Now, you've just got a successful story. I mean, there's tales and tribulations. It's extraordinary. Now, we've known each other for, shall we show everyone our age here? What, 30 years?
Yeah.
About that? Yeah. So a
long time.
over, maybe?
Yeah, probably longer. I know, it's a very long time. Sounds wrong, doesn't it? I don't like it.
We both went to school together, and it's been an epic journey in both of our stories ever since. Now, Kirsten, you are the amazing owner of a business at the moment. Would you like to tell everybody what you do right now and why it impacts people and makes your soul shine?
Sure. So I have a fairly big social retail business at the moment, it's all online. It's to do with health and wellness, which is great. I love supporting people on their health journeys, whether it's weight loss or gut health or just feeling fitter and healthier. It's all based around a clean label company. So that's the toxin-free products, home care, skincare, whatever. But the biggest part about it that really lights my fire is I get to help basically mums who are the same as me, crazy busy, create an income from home with their kids. So I've got 3 kids, and I had an extremely busy hairdressing salon when I had my son, and he had to come to work with me. I had 3 staff leave when he was 2 weeks old. So I worked, it was nuts, 6 days a week with a brand new baby. I still had stitches. It was so crazy. And I missed out on all of that little baby stuff. I missed it all. So when I had my second daughter, my second child, by that stage I had a salon in my house, because when my son was 4, he started crying one Saturday and just said, don't get dressed, mummy, don't go to work. And I just had to change something. So I gave away my salon, which is nuts because it was valued at stupid money.
You gave it away.
I couldn't sell it. It was a franchise. So to buy into this particular franchise, you have to have worked for the company, which made it extremely difficult. So I couldn't get out. I felt very trapped. I felt very stuck. And if you know me, I don't like to be stuck or trapped. So I woke up one day and I went, I don't want to do it anymore. It's not worth it. It's not worth what I'm missing out on. So I walked away. It was valued at over $300,000, and I gave it to one of my staff.
Wow, what a gift.
Yeah, well, is it a gift? I'm not sure. So because now she's working her butt off with little kids, and just, it was a great business. Don't get me wrong, I loved my team. But in the long run, what that gave me was a job. I still had to pay franchise fees. Most of the profit went to them. So I was working really hard, and on paper it was very successful, but it was a job for me. It gave me a wage, not much extra. So then I started working from home and had my next little one, which wasn't much better because she's crawling around in hair on the floor. And, I thought at least having a salon from home, I could spend time with her, but that's not a healthy environment either. So she went to daycare from 6 weeks old. So she was tiny. Yeah. So when I started this business, I was 7 months pregnant, and one of my clients said, why don't you try this? It's $50 at the time. It's $60 now, big outlay. And I'm like, sure, it's a pair of shoes, I'll give it a crack. I'm not really one for saying no to anything really. but I did not think for 1 second that it would change my life like it has. And it just took off. So, yeah, I guess that leads me into, where people say no and don't do things, because everyone around me said, don't give up hairdressing. Don't give up your day job. This is not going to work. It never does. No one makes these things successful. And I just went, why not? Like, why not? Why not me? Happens for other people. Why not me? I'm no different. They're no different to me. I'm watching other mums just do it from home on their phone. So what really lights my fire is showing other people how to do it from a phone. I'm so computer illiterate, like literally it takes me a long time to set stuff up, believe me. So doing it from my phone and teaching other mums who are the same as me, they don't know anything. I didn't know anything, but why not? Why can't you? But seeing other people succeed really does float my boat.
So this is really interesting. I mean, the title being today, how to ignore the naysayers to create your own success. Now, you've been doing this business for how long?
It'll be 4 years next week.
Every 4 years. 4 years next week. Wow. It's fourth birthday time. That's fantastic.
Yes.
How many people do you have working underneath you in this business?
Over 300.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, it's big.
Fantastic. What a great effort. I'm just here celebrating you. So
Thank you.
amazing. Now, this is the really interesting thing, right? You're not the type of person that likes people to say no to, right? When someone says that you can't do something, you will dig your feet in and go,
watch me. I'm a Taurus. I hate being told what to do, and I'm stubborn. Now,
yeah, but see, not everyone's like that, right? Not everyone can do that. There's a lot of people out there that suffer a lot of self-confidence issues, and the moment someone says no to them, they just take it. Oh, you're right. Yep, I won't. No. Even if it's resonating in their soul. Now, let's go back to a little younger Kirsten and look at some of the trajectory of your life. Like, so this is really interesting. So, I mean, you grew up with a mum and dad, and they're still together, aren't they?
They are, yeah. They're very happy.
Yeah, fantastic, which is epic.
Traveling in a caravan, doing retired things,
Awesome. That's fantastic. Now, the first time that you grew up with, a great circle of friends when you were a teenager and things like that. And just so everyone's aware, tell everyone what you told me, what your dream was when you were a young girl.
I reckon I would have been maybe 4.5 or 5. And I desperately wanted to be a hairdresser. I smelt a hairdressing salon. I walked past it and all these beautiful women in there having fun, laughing, talking. And I went, that's what I meant to do. My favorite toy was the Barbie doll head, that you did its hair all the time. I was obsessed with that thing for years. I used to cut my neighbor's hair when I was I would have been 9 or 10 years old. And I'm talking the adult neighbor from next door with my mum's kitchen scissors. Like, I used to cut my friend's dad's hair, Kiwi's dad's hair with their kitchen scissors. Like, everyone used to let me cut their hair. Never would I let a 14-year-old girl cut my hair. But anyway, it was fun. It was just what I always wanted to be, was a hairdresser.
Isn't that amazing? So you actually lived your dream.
Yep.
How many people do you know that are actually living their dream?
Yeah, not many. You tend to be steered. But my parents were very good about, because it was a trade and something you could fall back on, and it was a good choice for me because I'm not very, I'm not dumb, but I really, studying is not my thing. But it's funny because I just scraped through school. But when I went to do my hairdressing training, I passed everything with honours, like top of the class in every single thing, because I loved it so much. I was so passionate about it for so long that, I was just meant to do that.
So let's just really underline something here, that you didn't have the desire for academics, right?
Nope.
which is okay.
That's okay.
There's nothing wrong with that. But to your core, you're a creative.
Yeah.
Hairdressing is a creative profession.
I see life in color. Like if I take notes, I've got a whole packet of texters and I write notes in colors because otherwise I can't read it. So definitely create. I know I'm a bit weird, but I definitely, life is colorful, life is bright. So hairdressing was just such a thing that I could be creative, I could be artistic, I can still, talk underwater and be social, which is important too.
Now, there's something really interesting when you were playing around, you were cutting other people's hair, you were experimenting. This is part of your dream. This is where you wanted to go. And then between 14 and 15, you wanted to work on cars. You're a little bit of a I don't know, what do you call it? A redhead? Or maybe just work on cars?
I like old cars. I do like old cars, but I just...
Tell everyone what kind of car you've got. Come on.
I've got a 1958 FC Holden. It's beautiful.
Boom.
Very gorgeous. Her name is Frankie.
What is it?
Frankie.
Frankie.
It's Frankie Carosi, you see? But yeah, my brother and my dad, I was only really little, but they were working on this old car in the yard, and all I wanted to do was go work on it with them. And my dad was like, no, girls don't do this. You go and get inside. So one of my favourite subjects at school was manual arts. I hated home ec with a passion. Ugh, I can't stand cooking. I don't like sewing. My sister, she's a machinist. My mum used to make clothes. I just cannot for the life of me do it. Give me tools and in woodwork and shop, I loved it. I loved manual arts. It was my favourite subject. I was only a girl in the class. It's like I always was kind of a little bit different, I guess.
So
I know. I keep throwing curveballs.
No. It's great. It's great. What I'm interested in is this first experience that you had when someone said, no, you can't do that. You're a girl.
Yeah, that did not sit well.
And tell me how that made you actually feel. Like, what did you feel on the inside?
Oh, rage, a lot of rage. There's always been a lot of rage. Oh, look, I love my dad. I do love my dad, but my dad is very old school. He's from the 50s. He probably should have been born in the 30s. Like he's very old school. He's very much, you've got your roles and that's where you sit. And I am polar opposite to that. I don't think anyone should be set in a role or have to feel like they have to fit that path. So I was always, I guess, pushing against that boundary and wanting to cross the lines. And obviously that came out when I was in my teens and the lines were a bit naughtier, don't do things. And so I would, of course, go do them because it must be fun if I'm not allowed to do it. So I've always been not very good at accepting rules, but I will always accept the responsibility. So I'd own up to stuff that I did after I did it. I just wouldn't ask for permission.
So I'm really curious about this rage aspect, Kirsten, that you for most of your adult life, you've gone against every naysayer that you can't do that, and you proved them wrong.
Yep.
But when you were young, you got told that you couldn't do something, and it filled you with rage. And do you think that rage that you weren't allowed to do something created a fabric for a few years, an underlying subconscious moment where you wanted to prove something to your parents, that you would do anything that they said you would go and do it anyway? You just didn't listen? Absolutely.
I used to say to my mum, and my mum's pretty understanding, but I would say, I just want to learn my own lessons. I want to fail. I want to, saying I can't do something doesn't allow me to find out why. And I need to know myself. I'm very curious. So I think having those hard lines and boundaries that people can't cross and telling someone they can't do something instead of, this is probably not for you because of this, reasons, the hard no, it just does not. I just don't accept it. So then because of my nature, it would make me go do it. instead of the conversation about why maybe that wouldn't be such a good idea. I don't know if I'd accept that either, to be perfectly honest. I probably would have still gone and done it.
So there was an opportunity for you when you were 15 to be an apprentice hairdresser.
Yes.
And could you tell us why that didn't eventuate? And if you think it was actually associated to the rebellious aspect that you had started to implement in your life because you weren't allowed to work on a car.
I don't know if it's based from working on a car. I guess it all stems from that because those days, well, no, not in this sense, because so the day I got offered a hairdressing apprenticeship was my 15th birthday. And I hadn't seen my mother because I was at my friend's house, and she will vividly remember this. I went out and we may have gone to the bottle shop and may have celebrated, and two of us may have drank the whole bottle because everybody else didn't like it, and we may have gone to a blue light disco, which is, if anyone knows, they are run by police, which is not smart. Anyway, I was obviously very unwell, wouldn't tell them who my parents were, may have been locked up and got grounded from May till December and wasn't allowed to take that hairdressing apprenticeship. But I was forced to go to Naval Cadets to teach me discipline, which meant I got to go sailing with 15-year-old boys all weekend, so that was okay too. It's an interesting punishment, isn't it? But it's funny, like not allowing me to take that hairdressing apprenticeship meant that I had to finish high school. So I had to do grade 11 and 12. I was in grade 10 at the time. So I was old enough to leave school, but I wasn't allowed. So basically the last 2 years of my high school was fun, pure fun. I knew I wasn't going to be doing anything but hairdressing, and I knew my marks wouldn't count. In hindsight, I'm so glad that that happened, because it really did allow me time to be a kid and to grow into myself and to find out what I really liked in life. And liking myself, I think 15 is really young to make life decisions and go out, but you can't tell a 15-year-old that. So we all have to learn our own lessons.
Yes, we do. Our story is our journey, and we all have to travel that path in whatever decisions that we make. And we have to take, as you said, we have to take responsibility of our circumstances and the choices that we made, even though if someone inflicted us with some great deal of pain, it still is a choice at some point in our lives to change the perspective of how that affects us later on in life.
Yeah.
And to look at a different perspective and know that everything that happens in our lives is part of the journey, is part of the building blocks, is part of the story. And when we look back, that the story is just the story, and there's nothing that's actually physically there that can hurt us in that respect. But they're all lessons to understand. I mean, it's God's university. It's there to teach us certain aspects, to take us to a place where we are today.
Absolutely.
Where you are today.
Yeah, I think every moment, every decision, you can never regret. And I put myself into some really bad situations. But every one of those decisions makes you who you are. And I like who I am. So I don't have regrets about dumb decisions in my early years or my 20s or my, I think it all builds up to who you are today. And regretting something from past or yesterday, it just doesn't matter. It's done, but looking at it as a lesson and taking something forward from it is how you grow, I guess.
Absolutely. And it wasn't always like that though, right?
No.
When you're a teenager, there was self-confidence issues, you had self-esteem issues.
Yep.
So just let the audience just really understand. I mean, you knew what you wanted to do. You wanted to be a hairdresser. Yep. So that's like a small percentage of people know when they're a kid what it is that they're going to do, and they know that they're going to do it.
Yep.
Right? A lot of people know the dream, but are too scared or get talked out of actually chasing the dream.
Yep.
But you went through a period of your life through teenagehood where you thought you were different.
Oh yeah, God, I was different. I was the only one of my friends who liked rock, heavy metal music. You know, all the other girls like pop. It was just not my thing, and so I had to kind of fake that for a while. But it really hurts my ears. So, you know, you can't. You like what you like, don't you? I remember
So what's one of the heavy metal bands that you used to listen to?
Oh God, well, they were not even that heavy. It was just Metallica and Pearl Jam, Nirvana. Soundgarden was my favorite, hands down. Not that heavy, but I guess when everyone's listening to "Don't Worry, Be Happy," it's heavy. But we turned 18 and everyone's going out with these, you know, chunky high heels, and I'm wearing Doc Martens, and you know, I was very grunge. I was just a bit different. So.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because
wrong with that.
A teenager, it's all about.
Shaved my hair, to dye my hair, got it every color of the rainbow, and everyone was all pretty girls. But you know, gotta do these things. I'll just say it is very, very freeing to shave your head at least once in your life.
Really? So
oh my God, it's amazing.
I even got offered a film part, and they said we're going to shave your head, and I was at that point I was pretty young. It was very, very early in my career, and I still was working through my own self-confidence issues as well at that point. And I said no.
Oh, you do have a fabulous head of hair though, so I kind of understand it. But look, my hair is so thick. It was like, oh, just get this off, and it was like, oh, no blow drying. The water, it just feels so nice. It's pretty good.
Wow.
Anyway, that is so far off topic.
I'm definitely going to consider shaving my head just to check it out.
Just it grows back. It's his hair.
Absolutely, man. Do you know how quick mine grows?
Oh,
it's like it's on steroids. So now I really want to get clear on this, Kirsten. You had self-esteem issues and confidence issues.
Yep.
But you still knew what you wanted to do.
Yep.
So what was the self-esteem issues and the self-confidence issues really coming from?
Oh, you like to dig deep, don't you? Look, I got told when I was young, you're not the smart one, lucky you're pretty. You know, what people say to you, you take on, you know, those seeds get planted, and for some reason we like to water them as we get older and take that on as it must be true. So it takes a while to dig that shit up. Sorry about the language, but it really does. And it's not, they're not my opinions to carry, but you don't learn that until you're older. So to get through that in my teenage years and work out who I actually was and not just what I look like is hard, you know, like it does takes a lot of thinking and working out, is it worth it? And all those conversations that you have in your head when you're a teenager, I don't know anyone who doesn't have them, you know, but I guess how you come out the other side of it and how you let it go and move forward and like I really do. I like who I am. And in my 20s, I liked who I was. When I was 18, I liked who I was. The day I turned 18, I told my mother everything I'd ever done. And let me tell you, there's a lot that I did. But we went out and we drank cocktails, and I told her everything I'd ever done because I said to her, you can't judge me anymore. You can't, like, I'm a grown up now. I'm a woman. You can't judge me. You can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me what I'm supposed to think or feel or be. Not that they ever did, but I guess you feel that pressure from your parents on what they want you to be, you know? So that for me was the defining moment of really coming into my own self and liking who I was and owning it and owning all those things and saying them out loud to my mother. And it freed me a lot.
And when you did that, what was going on inside you? You know, the emotion. What was the reaction from your mum?
Well, we were working our way through the cocktail list. I was 18, and that's what I wanted to do for my birthday was drink all the colours. So, but I kind of had it in my head that this was going to happen anyway soon, this conversation, because it needed to. for me, I need to get things out. I'm not very good at holding on to things I have to say. I do think that there's a lot of, breathing out when you get that out. There's things that you just can't keep inside. So having that conversation was always going to happen. It was just a when, but it was good. She accepted it. There's a lot of things she wished I didn't tell her.
Well, it's all about the truth. And when we're living in the truth, it allows our soul to be free. It allows ourselves just to be and be okay with that. There's a lot of people that really struggle with self-confidence and self-esteem issues, right through their 20s and 30s. And look, I always had to fight myself with that. I always had to step through the fear barrier.
Like I still do. Confidence is not real. It's not a real thing. I don't know one person, not one, who will tell you deep down they feel confident. Nobody's confident. It's all fake. We all fake it. What it is practice.
Absolutely.
The more you do something, the more comfortable you feel about it. So the easier it is to do. To walk into a room or go to a party on your own. It's terrifying. It's still terrifying. I'm 46 now. How old am I? I don't even know. Nearly 47. God. It's still terrifying. And it still makes me feel like that 16-year-old girl that had to walk into a party on her own. I still feel the same way, but I just suck it up better. It's practice.
That's it. And that's the real key, is knowing that the barriers that come in our lives, they're just, it's almost like they're imaginary walls, right? And you can either imagine that they're real, or that they're just a figment of your imagination that's there, and you can just walk through it.
Yeah.
That's one of the keys to pushing through those fear barriers, is knowing that it's just an illusion.
Yeah.
It's there in front of us, but it's not there in front of us. The only thing that we don't know is what's on the other side, and that's the part that we're having a little bit.
That's where the fear sits, to hold you back.
Right. Now, so this is a great understanding and mindset, really understanding what it takes to know your dream, make a decision, convict to it. And when you're 18, you made that decision. That's it. I'm an adult. I'm allowed to do whatever I freaking want. And I'm going to tell you everything I did, so you can sit there and process it. And if you hate me.
Process it, get over it, then we can have another one.
But what a great lesson for people to actually take into their life. Like, that takes balls. That takes courage.
I do. I do have a big set. But I think that is part of my stubborn nature. Even when I had my salon, and I had a business partner, and she's like, you need to get your shiny ones out. We've got to do this. And I'm like, I'm in. So I've always said yes, always. I just think things are put in front of you, and things are set there to teach you something. If you don't say yes, how are you ever going to learn anything? So I've said yes to most things, which is it's not always pay out. And I've had heaps of things fail. So many I can't even tell you, that it doesn't mean I wouldn't keep saying yes. If something got presented to me today, I could guarantee you I would say yes. It doesn't make sense not to. Like, how do you know what you're going to be good at, or how do you know what you actually love if you don't try things? Who cares if you don't know how to do it? That's the whole thing about learning. And there's Google. Google tells you everything.
Absolutely.
I think Google. You just ask Google. She talks to me all the time, Siri. Me and Siri are besties.
Same with me. That's my PA.
I did make Siri Irish for a little while. It was so funny. I loved it.
Really?
Yeah. Is that weird?
Is Irish one of your key attributes in a male?
I don't know. It's a funny accent. I like it.
Yeah, right.
Makes you want to talk Irish and sound funny.
So if you met an Irish man, have you met an Irish man in your past?
No.
You haven't?
Oh, but he was from Glasgow, so I'm not sure. I couldn't understand what he was saying.
Well, Glasgow is Scottish.
Oh, sorry, that is good. That is Scottish. No, Irish, no.
Yeah. So Irish and Scottish, there is different twangs in their
There
in
is,
their
and there
accent.
is in Scotland too.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, haven't, no.
So you haven't met an Irish man before? Wow. I've traveled all over the world, and in every single town, every single city that I've ever been to, there's an Irish pub, right? And there's always Irish people. This tiny little country, there's Irish people there isn't one country in the world that I've traveled to that I haven't met an Irish person. It's weird.
That's funny. I meet Scots everywhere.
There we go. So maybe something in your abundance, in the selection of your abundance attraction, is maybe I'd like to meet an Irish guy. I mean, maybe that would be what's going to do to my insides. What's going to happen there?
Well, I'll let you know if it ever happens.
So this is really extraordinary, just to see that trajectory of your own personal life and how you made definitive decisions, and that's part of your success, right?
I do make very quick decisions, and I don't ever really put a lot of thought into anything. I just go with my instincts, and I'm a big believer in trusting your gut. I generally listen to two feelings. So there's the one that, is nerves and fear, and that's to be ignored. That's just being uncomfortable because you don't know what's on the other side. You don't know something. The other one is that icky feeling in your gut where it kind of sits and goes, that doesn't feel so good. That one I listen to. If it doesn't feel good, I don't do it. If it makes me feel icky, I don't do it. And I don't care what anyone says whether I should or shouldn't, I don't listen, because I listen to that feeling. But the fear feeling, I use that one because I want to know what's on the other side.
See, this is listening to your intuition, Kirsten. And there's a real difference to listening to noise.
Get out of your head. Your head that is not to be listened to, I don't think.
Yeah, very much so. And just describe. Give me a situation. Give me something in your life. I'm sure there's been a situation which could have turned really dangerous for you, where you listen to your gut.
Oh, you smell. How'd you go? Sorry, the dog's here. Could have turned dangerous. Well, I've been in lots of those, but I won't go into details, but there was a situation, and I guess this is where I ignored it, and it did not end well. As a woman, it didn't end well. And I put myself in that situation, and I had that feeling and I ignored it. And it's the only time in my life that I've ignored it. So, lesson learned.
What was it?
I'm not saying.
Oh.
I'll tell you later. It wasn't fun. It was a lot of I got a lot of processing that had to go after that time. So yeah, it was a big lesson to learn, and I learned it.
So are we talking about some sort of physical danger that we're from a male aspect?
Yes.
Yeah. And just give me an age. What age?
How old was I? 19.
19. Okay. So you didn't listen to your intuition. You got into a very dangerous situation, or it was dangerous.
Yeah.
It had adverse effects.
Yes.
How long did it take you to actually process that?
Oh, not so long. Well, I probably processed it pretty well at the time, I think. I'm pretty good at being honest with myself and not, like I said before, I don't bury stuff. So I went home and I talked to my girlfriends, and I dealt with it, processed it, gave myself a stern talking to about ignoring that instinct. And, life goes on. That's what life is. It's a roller coaster. There's ups and downs and curly twists and 3 steps backwards, all those things. But if you don't kind of look at it and learn a lesson, then I think that's where it does really start to play. But yeah, what do? You can't go back. You can't change it. You've got to move forward.
Absolutely. Well, it's such a beautiful way to look at life, Kirsten. like not everyone can do this.
I think life is a whole journey. You know, it's supposed to be a roller coaster. It's not supposed to be smooth. It's not supposed to be like this. It's really, if you don't have bad, then how do you know what's amazing? If everything's just amazing, that is just normal. Like you need the ups and downs. You need the twists. You need the sadness to make that euphoria so much better. So I don't know, it just sort of all goes together in the package of life.
And if you were talking to, I mean, you've got 3 kids. If you were talking to some young girls right now in the aspect of listening to their intuition, you know, listening to their gut instincts.
Yeah.
How do you tell the difference between your gut instincts and what your head, because the head is always stepping in, right? It's always throwing a whole sound barrier.
It's noisy in there. It's so noisy. So this is what I'm like, one of my biggest things is gut health. And I know this is going to sound a bit quirky, but I massively think 99% of our decisions or our thoughts or our process, anything, it starts in your gut, which is why you get a gut feeling. And then it travels to your head for your head to get involved, which it shouldn't. It's none of its business. Like what is happening in your head is other people's opinions, what you've learned, like all of this noise. But that feeling that started in your belly, that's the real one. That's where it starts. You feel it in your belly. You know, if my kids are about to hurt themselves, where do you feel it? In your belly. It's not your head that goes, oh shit, they're about to hurt themselves. You go sick in the tummy and then it goes to your head, to your mouth to get out. Like that's the path.
Yeah.
But your head likes to just throw its little 2 cents in, which is none of its business.
How do you tell the difference? How do you actually
You have to learn the feeling.
Distinguish?
You have, well, it is a literal feeling. Before you start thinking, you have a feeling. That's it. It's that simple. When you get that feeling, that's the feeling.
So it's the energy. There's an energy build up initially. Bang. There's that part of the
like for me, it's, you know, you have to take notice and learn it. So for me, if I feel butterflies, that's a good thing. I love the butterflies. You know that, you know that feeling.
I still get it.
If there is a sick feeling, if there's an icky, queasy, that's a no from me. That is a hard no. It's as simple as that. Like if you trust your gut, learn to know your gut, learn to listen to your gut. It generally has 2 sides. That's it. Your gut doesn't have a maybe. I'll think about it. I'll send it to my head to work through that.
And because you're a single mum now, right? And that has challenges in itself to be able to run a business, look after 3 kids, run a business.
So something has to give, and for me it's the housework that just can wait for later. My house always looks like a bomb has gone off, but I figure one day when they're not there anymore, it'll be clean, so who cares? I do that mad cyclone when someone's coming over.
Yeah. Things go into cupboards really quickly.
No, I don't do cupboards, I do garbage bags. If it's left out, it goes in the bin. I literally throw everything in the bin. So my kids know if there's someone coming, they're going to get their stuff real fast, or otherwise it's gone.
So tell me, in the last, I mean, again, you're an exceptional human in the aspect of really understanding your own self. You got to a position where you could trust yourself, trust your instinct. And one time led you into a dangerous circumstance where you didn't trust your instinct and you went with the noise of your head. And it was the wrong decision.
Yep.
There's not a lot of people that can do that consistently over their life period.
It takes practice.
It is definitely practice.
I said, I've had lots of business fails. I've had lots of, I've never put myself in a situation like I've learned that lesson about putting myself in that. But business stuff, I thought, oh yeah, I'll have a go at that. 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 You know, and they're like, oh God, is this one going to work? And people rolling their eyes at me. I don't care. I couldn't care less. Why can't I have a go at everything? I don't know. Why not? So I do.
Great. That's awesome.
I just don't think life is about doing one thing forever, unless it's your 100. If you're so passionate about it and it fits you and you love it, then go for it. Go all in and do that. If you don't, and this was, so here's the funny story. I was cutting a kid's hair. He was probably 21. And he was sitting there and he'd done so many things in his life, like so many things. And I'm like, my God, how have you fit all this in? Like a lifetime of stuff. And he said, I watched this movie once and it changed how I think. And I'm like, he said, there was a line in the movie. And I said, what was it? And he said, sometimes in life, it's okay to just stop and start again. And it was like a light switch went off for me. I went, what am I doing in here? And I came home and I said to my husband, I'm giving the salon away tomorrow. So 2 weeks later, I was out of it. It was that fast because I wasn't passionate. I was passionate about my son and I was missing out. And you know what? I've never regretted it. Not for a second did I regret giving that salon away. It changed the path of my life. Making that decision and knowing that I was doing the right thing changed the path of my life. Then the next time was saying yes to this $50 whatever that I knew nothing, not one thing about, nothing. And it did the same thing. And I just went, sure, I'll have a go. That night I finished hairdressing and I sat down and I read this, oh God, so many pages of paper. I can't even tell you. I had to print out all this stuff. And I went, oh, there's too many words in that. Like I just can't do all the reading. So on the first page, it said how to do an ad. So I did an ad and it worked. And I got a customer in like 3 days. And I went, oh my God, this thing is real. I can do this. So I just did it.
Fantastic.
Like I'm telling you, everybody said to me, what are you doing? Is this another one of your mad, your mad things? I don't care. I'll do 10 more mad things, 20 more mad things. Who cares?
So what is that feeling like inside you?
Winning, when people tell you you're not going to. Oh, it's the best. It's the best. It really is. I can't tell you how many people said, don't give up hairdressing. You need this to fall back on. It's going to fall over. It's not real. Because you couldn't physically walk into it. And because I'd had salons, it's a real thing. I'm doing people's hair. They're giving me money. It's that time for cash, that kind of thing. That's real. Because they couldn't see what I was physically doing on my phone, I'm just sitting here like this. It can't be real. And I'm like, well, it is because I got the money in my bank.
Yeah. My parents don't believe what I do either.
It's funny, isn't it? It's
what do you mean you're working?
Yeah, play it on your phone. I'm like, it's interesting. I think that, believe it, but the world changes, and I love how the world changes, and I love how it moves, and I love new technology stuff. I can't work it, but I still want it, and I have a little play. I'm like, oh, this is fun, But it's exciting. I remember my grandma not being able to use the teller machine when I was a little kid. Like this was in the 80s. And she would have only been 50 or 60 years old and she couldn't use the PIN number machine. And I'm like, I never want to be like that. I never want to not know how to do something. So, I've been teaching my son how to TikTok. Thank you. I'm winning. He's 13. You should know better.
Boom.
That's right.
Get that, son. Boom.
Yeah, he was like, he started to teach me for a day or two and he goes, oh, you're actually better than that at me. So I'm like, that's right.
That's amazing. So again, Kirsten, like you're an extraordinary woman. You've got such a beautiful soul. You've gone through challenges in your life. You're a single mum. The whole process just over the last 10 years, you went from living your dream and realizing that your dream didn't fit your life anymore. And look, it happened to me too. Like I moved to a little town in the middle of nowhere, 2,000 kilometers away from the biggest city, moved away from my work, moved away from my tribe. And it really, it had a massive effect on me. And it wasn't until I went through a separation that and then I was kind of locked into where I was, right? that I had to make a real definitive decision and pivot in my own life to make that.
The pivot, don't you? I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of a sudden you're forced to look at life totally differently and create something new and different.
Yeah. And everyone has the opportunity to, like, everybody has the opportunity. If you're not happy with life, I know it's scary. I do. I know it's scary to make that choice to do something different and to step out of the known. But what's on the other side is, who cares if you lose it all? It's just stuff. It's just stuff,
Exactly.
I'm like, I've had people go, what about all of this? I'm like, I actually don't care about any of it. If it goes really pear-shaped, I'll sell my car. It's just a car. Like, I just don't have attachments to things. So I guess because I don't have attachments to things, the risk is minimal. Like, I'm not concerned about stuff. I just go, there is no risk, but a massive reward. So how you think, like, what is the fear that holds you back from taking that step? If you work out what that fear is and is it real, it changes everything.
Yeah, fear, like Tony Robbins says, is false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to understand, Kirsten, like, where your natural optimism comes from. So when you look at the,
I think I was just born happy. I'm not very often. It takes a lot to press my buttons. I get up in a good mood. I can turn, like, believe me, I can turn.
Me too.
But I wake up in a good mood most days. I wake up and I believe in glitter and sparkles and throwing kindness around the world and smiling at weird people. Like, it's contagious.
It's like you're like a fairy, like a godmother.
Fairy in a past life.
Fairy
But I do
maybe.
think that, life should be fun. Even in I'm a terrible, this is going to sound really bad, but if you're going through something really, really hard, like if someone's part or anything like that, I'm not for everybody, because I like to have inappropriate conversations and make people laugh at really bad times, because I just don't know how to be, I don't know, I always say the most inappropriate things, but it's like I can't help it, because I kind of want people to be happy. So I've had friends and they ring me and we ended up just like crying, laughing at the worst, really inappropriate times. But I just think that's what life is about.
What a beautiful way to look at life, to actually take, because it's about taking responsibility. Like you've taken responsibility of your own journey, and you've made decisions throughout your whole life, even though there was moments of questioning the very fabric of living. Where you're like, that's it, I'm done, I'm out, take me out of this world.
Oh, what's it all for? Like, what's the point? And I think most teenagers will say to themselves, what's the point? Because it's weird. It's like, when you think of life, it's weird. Like, we're only here for such a short time. What for? So until you kind of make sense of that. So I decided I was here to have fun. Try things. I want to end my days in a rocking chair with no regrets, trying as many things as I can, to have as many stories as I can. The things around me won't matter because they'll end up with someone else anyway. So, but the stories come with me, and I want those funny conversations. I want funny memories. The failures make as many funny memories as the wins. So
it's just beautiful, Kirsten. It really is. I mean, when you break down the human body, there's nothing in the body, in the design of the human body, there's nothing that is negative.
Nope.
Everything was built for optimism. Everything in the body works for the reason of optimism.
Like, this, but I don't talk about this very often. My son had cancer last year, and he was 12, and he had blood in the toilet when he weed. Anyway, he didn't tell me for 3 days because he thought it was puberty. I'm like, girls bleed, boys don't. But anyway, thanks to that was primary school sex ed. So that was a bit of a fail. There's a lesson. Do it yourself, mums. Anyway, having this conversation with him about that's a great thing that happened. Like he's had such an amazing life lesson at 12 years old for a boy to listen to his body. Instead of being embarrassed, I said, that's how your body talks to you. It shows you things. It tells you things. You might feel pain. You might feel this. That's how your body lets you know that there's something that's not right. So, you know, I think it was a great lesson for a 12-year-old boy to learn. And that's why we talked about, you know, trusting your gut and what feelings are and where you're learning it and turning that into a positive, which you have to, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's, and you're right. It is having something like that happen to you at a young age really takes the notion of being aware of your own body, your own self. I mean, I know when I was doing triathlons and I tore both my patella tendons.
Ouch.
And then was told that I couldn't do sport. I couldn't do anything for 12 months. And it had such a massive impact on my psychology because I utilized that as a tool to build my confidence, to build my self-esteem, because I'd been picked on for so long. And then for my body to go, nah, you can't do it. And it was a huge spanner in the works, but it did make me super aware of my body.
Yeah.
And really appreciate how important it is to take care of it.
Yeah, to be in tune with it, to listen to, you know, we only get one of these. There's no spare parts, you know. Well, he did have one spare part and it was his kidney. So luckily that's where he got the cancer because he's got another one. So, you know, that I think learning that and having that is a gift. It really is. And, you know, I talked to him going, you know, he's very open now. Doesn't love it, but he's much more open because the boys just aren't by nature. You guys just keep it all in.
I know. It's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah. So he gets cranky at his sister walking around with no pants on. I'm like, she's 3. She can have no pants on. Like, who cares? But it's like, you know, he's 13 and gets all like, oh, should be all tucked away. But it's, you know, you've got to use these things as lessons. And we did. So it was good.
It's brilliant. Look, you're such a wonderful mother to be in a situation like that has such optimism that would have rubbed off on Hudson, your son, and being able to give him an outlook of a perspective that it's okay and that I can learn from this. And that is such a great learning tool for anyone that's listening. It's such a massive impact in a child's life to have a parent so optimistic that it doesn't matter about the circumstances. You have great leaders around you that you can push through this, and that it's only a challenge. It's just an imaginary wall, and we just need to walk through it.
It's just part of life. That they're going to be there all the time. And I think I was saying to you when we were chatting before, like I'm a bit of a bugger because every time my life kind of starts cruising along, I go looking for one of those challenges. Like I kind of need to have my life in a bit of a whirlwind. I like it a bit messy. I like it a bit disrupted. So it's fun. Well, not the cancer. I don't want that again. We can do it.
Yes, you were saying that you didn't like the calm so much. You love. I mean, same with me. I love just things.
I think I just work better. I function better when it's a bit manic. It's a bit hectic. Yeah. Feels exciting.
It makes the brain work in high octane.
Yeah.
You know, when you're giving your car your fuel, you can give it, you know, the ethanol, or you can go the high octane. Yeah. I like working on the high octane stuff.
Such a boy analogy.
I'm just a boy. Look, Kirsten, this has been wonderful. It's been really wonderful to see an aspect of your life, how optimistic you are at such a young age, and how you've just carried that through all your life. And you've just thrown the coin at anything and just had a go and just not cared about the hows. Oh my God, the how am I going to do it?
Don't worry about the how. My ex-boyfriend told me I shouldn't open a hairdressing salon because I didn't know anything about business. I'm like, who cares? I found a
Don't
bookkeeper.
Yeah.
I found a bookkeeper. She used to come in every day and pick up a bag of like all the receipts, and she did all that for me.
Epic. So this is just awesome. Like, don't listen to the naysayers. Find out the positive outlook in everything that you do in your life, no matter what challenges are there. Walk through them, because there's always something interesting on the other side. Kirsten, if someone wants to actually connect with you and find out a little bit more about you, about what you do, how can they find you?
The easiest way is Facebook. Just jump into my messenger. I live in Facebook Messenger. It's a bit harder on TikTok. The messages they're not so easy. Or on Instagram, it's just Kirsten Carosi. Easy.
Fantastic. Kirsten, it's been an absolute pleasure. I applaud you. I celebrate you. You're a wonderful mother, a wonderful woman, a wonderful leader for so many people that are actually under your care, under your wings.
Yeah, I love my team there. Amazing women. I feel very blessed. I really do. Like I've got just the most amazing bunch of people that just purely lift each other up. No competition, no bitching, no moaning. I love it. It's beautiful.
Oh, and just so you know, I've been so caught up in our conversations. There's a little bit of a chat going on. This is from Coach Chad Smith. He's jumped on to the live. And let's see. Awesome, great philosophy. Try it, experience it, see what happens. Decide if it feels right. If not, change. Give yourself permission to pivot. The best. I have those conversations too. Make them smile. Leave no room for regrets in your casket. Thank you, Coach Chad.
I love it.
Kirsten Carosi, it's been wonderful. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you all soon. This is Inspire Millions. Hit subscribe if you want to be kept in touch with the next conversation that's going on, the next inspiration that could lead you to actually taking a step towards your dreams, to changing your life, pivoting in something that's going on, and just having the opportunities land in your lap. This is Inspire Millions. I'm Kane Sirota Novak. Hit the like button. We'll see you again soon.